Hey y'all, and welcome to the Sprinkle Factory YouTube channel where we cover everything culinary. Let's keep the Mardi Gras vibes going, and today we're going to make French Quarter beignets with strawberry sugar and strawberry sauce. Just a little background, y'all. Beignets are commonly known in New Orleans as a breakfast served with powdered sugar on top, and were declared the official state donut of Louisiana in 1986. Let's get right into it, you guys. We're going to start with our ingredients. So you need 3/4 cups of warm water, 2.5 teaspoons of dry active yeast, that's very important, 1 egg, a half a cup of evaporated milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, a pinch of salt, 1/3 of a cup of white granulated sugar, 3 3/4 cups of flour, and 3 tablespoons of melted butter. So the first step is we want to go ahead and bloom our yeast. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the warm water to the mixer along with our 2.5 teaspoons of dry active yeast, and we are going to set our timer for 5 minutes. So this is the beginning stages, you guys, and after 5 minutes the yeast should be nice and rehydrated and active and should look like this. In a separate bowl I have my egg, my pinch of salt. I'm going to add in my white sugar along with my evaporated milk and vanilla. We're going to give this a good mix, and we're going to make sure that we get all of the ingredients incorporated. So this way we can add them into our mixer with our dry yeast and our water. Before I actually add the ingredients into the water and yeast mixture, I do want to make sure that I mix my yeast up just a little bit, so this way it is completely dissolved in the water. And then of course we're going to add the egg and the milk mixture. So really quick, guys, while I'm doing this, I want to go ahead and discuss the addition of the flour. Now the recipe does call for 3 3/4 cups of flour. However, you may not use all of the flour. So initially what I want you to do is I want you to start with 2 cups of the flour. You want to mix that in. Easier to add to your recipe versus take away from your recipe. So you want to make sure that you add the flour in slowly, so if you have a mishap or if the dough gets too dry, you don't have to trash it and start all over. So at this point, guys, once I added in my 2 cups of flour, I want to go ahead and add in my melted butter. And at this stage is when I'm just going to play around with it a bit and see how much flour the recipe is actually going to need. A lot of deciding factors when it comes to how much flour you should use, one of them being humidity, and that plays a big factor in baking, period. So once we mix it around, you guys, we definitely want the dough to still be soft but not too sticky. This is how much flour I have left, you guys, after the 3 3/4 cups of flour for the recipe. So I didn't have to use all of it, but you do want to flour your surface that you are going to be kneading your dough on. It's very important, so you can just use the rest of that flour. Just to show you guys kind of the texture of the dough, it's really soft, and you can still squish it down and make an imprint in it. However, it's not sticky, so it's not going to stick all over your finger or your hands when you're trying to knead the dough. So really quickly, we want to make sure that even though we floured the bottom of the board, we want to go ahead and flour the top of the dough as well. And I am going to teach you guys how to knead the dough. It's really super simple. We're going to take it and we're going to actually fold the dough into itself, and we're going to push out and do it again, pull in. So push out, pull in, push out, pull in. And what this is going to do is this is just working the gluten in the flour, and by doing so we're basically obtaining that lovely chew that we all know and love when it comes to great breads and donuts and fried doughs. The next thing I want you guys to do is grab a bowl. You're going to grab a bowl because what we're going to do is after you knead it, you want to form it into a nice circle or a nice ball, something that will fit perfectly in the bottom of a bowl. So once you grab your bowl, you want to make sure you also grab some vegetable oil. I use the spray oil that you can find in every supermarket. It just makes it easier and more efficient when coating the bowl. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the vegetable oil and we're going to grab our bowl, and we're actually going to give the bowl a nice spray. This is because we are going to set the bowl aside once we put the dough in it, and we're going to allow the dough to proof for 2 hours. And this oil is actually going to ensure that our dough doesn't stick to the bowl. So when you put it in the bowl, you want to make sure you twirl it around. Make sure you have oil on the top of the dough as well, so this way it doesn't form a skin. This is the start of the dough, and after 2 hours, it should pretty much double in size. It's best to keep your dough in an area that doesn't have any drafts, in a nice warm area. And I wet a dish towel here just to keep it nice and moisturized, and let it go. In this pan, we have a cup of sliced strawberries, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and a squeeze of lemon. We're just going to let that work, and that's going to be our sauce later. So let's get started on our strawberry sugar. We have salt, we have confectioner sugar, and freeze-dried strawberry slices. These are actually really exciting. They taste exactly like strawberries. They're just a little dry. So what we're going to do, you guys, is we're going to go ahead and put about a half of a cup of strawberries into the food processor. We're going to grind it down until they get relatively fine as the powdered sugar. Once that is done, and at this point your kitchen is going to smell amazing. This is my favorite part. Once you finish that, you guys, you want to go ahead and add 2 cups of confectioner sugar and a pinch of salt. The salt is just going to enhance the strawberry flavor, so please do not leave that out. You definitely need it. So once it's done, you want to grind everything together, and there you have it, you guys. You have your strawberry sugar. So it's a nice little different twist on the classic, and it will be absolutely delicious. So after 2 hours, you want to make sure that you go ahead and flour your board again. Don't use too much flour because you don't want your dough to be rough. So I say probably about a quarter of a cup should be fine, and spread it around. You want to press down your dough, and what we're going to do is we're going to roll it out so that we can actually cut our beignets. This is so exciting. So you're going to put another maybe 3 tablespoons of flour on top of the dough. The dough should be very soft. You should still be able to make an indentation and it not bounce back. Grab your rolling pin, and what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out to probably maybe 1/3 of an inch as far as thickness goes. And this is a very easy dough to roll out, you guys. I love it every time. It's so therapeutic, and it's not going to give you any hassle. Once you have everything rolled out, and try to keep it pretty much in a rectangle versus a square, versus a circle, because we're going to be cutting out squares. The traditional beignet is normally cut into 2-inch by 2-inch squares. So what I've done is I've went ahead and pre-measured my lines on my dough, and we're just going to go ahead and cut them out. So we're going to go ahead and cut down first and then cut across. This should give you probably close to 25 to 30 of these, depending on the size that you cut them. So you're going to want to go ahead and cut them all out, get them all done. And if you pre-cut the lines, cutting the squares are super easy. So earlier when I showed you guys the dough, before we rolled it out, I showed you this little pastry cutter here. This is an awesome tool to have in your kitchen for pretty much everything. And as you see, it makes the job so easy. So you want to go ahead and get everything cut. Make sure that you have your oil preheating to 350 degrees. And the frying process for these are super easy. We're going to go ahead and drop them, of course, into the oil. And they literally probably take 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Again, guys, it literally takes 2 to 3 minutes, and as you can see, they fluff up into these beautiful little golden brown pillows of deliciousness. This literally, the process in frying these and getting them crispy golden brown is super simple. You couldn't ask for an easier frying process. These guys come out super cute. You want to make sure that you drain them on a paper towel. And then once you do that, of course, you want to make sure you grab your strawberry sugar and give them a nice dousing. There's no such thing as too much powdered sugar on a beignet. And just like that, you guys have made French quarter beignets with the strawberry sugar and strawberry sauce. These are super, super, super light, fluffy, and delicious. As my grandma would say, finger licking time. I love y'all. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see y'all next time.